that we make, but also by the people who make them. In Oregon, back in 1958, I was in Zurich, and there met the most extraordinary man by the name of Karl von Kirchheim. He was a former German.
Diplomat who had studied Zen in Japan. And when he came back after the war, he opened a meditation school and retreat in the Black Forest. And he said, well, I tell you what, a lot of my work has to do with people who went through spiritual crises during the war. And he said, you know, we all know that when a person's in an absolutely extreme situation and they accept it, there is a possibility of a natural satori. And that's what I mean when I was explaining that when one gets to an extreme, that is to say, to the point where you realize that there is nothing you can do about life, nothing you can not do about life, then you're the mosquito biting the iron bull. Well, so the thing we said, look, you heard a bomb coming at you. You could hear it whistle, and you knew it was right above you and headed straight at you, and that you were finished. And you accepted it. And suddenly, there was a strange feeling that everything's absolutely clear. You suddenly see that there isn't a grain of dust in the whole universe that's in the wrong place. That you understand completely, absolutely, totally what it's all about. But you can't say what it is. But he said in so many cases the bomb was a dud and they lived to tell the tale. Or he said you were in a concentration camp. You've been there so long that you gave up all hope whatsoever, ever getting out. You were just going through this miserable, boring, degrading grind, week after week after week. Nobody paid the slightest attention to you as an individual. You knew you would never get out, and you accepted it. And suddenly, something changed. This extraordinary feeling. Freedom. Or he said, you were a displaced refugee. You had lost your family. You didn't know whether they even existed. You were miles from your home. You didn't know whether it existed. You had lost your job, your very identity. You were absolutely nowhere. And you accepted it. And suddenly, you were as light as a feather and free as the air. Now he said, so many people have had those experiences and they talk about them to their families and friends and they say, oh, well, you were under terrific pressure and you probably had some hallucination, you know? Well, he said, I am showing those people that so far from having a hallucination, those were the few occasions in which they woke up. So, you see, this is always the opportunity presented by death. That if one can go into death with eyes open and have somebody help you, if necessary, to give up before you die, this extraordinary thing can happen to you. So that from your standpoint, in that position at that time, you would say, I wouldn't have missed that opportunity for the world. Now I understand why we die. The reason we die is to give us the opportunity to understand what life's all about. By letting go. Because then we come... And there met a most extraordinary man by the name of Karl Fried von Dürkheim. He was a former German diplomat who had studied Zen in Japan. And when he came back after the war, he opened a meditation school and retreat in the Black Forest. And he said, well, I tell you what, a lot of my work has to do with people who went through spiritual crises during the war. And he said, you know, we all know that when a person's in an absolutely extreme situation and they accept it, there is a possibility of a natural satori. And that's what I mean when I was explaining that when one gets to an extreme, that is to say, to the point where you realize that there is nothing you can do about life, nothing you could not do about life, then you're the mosquito biting the iron bull. Well, so in the same way he said, look, you heard a bomb coming at you, you could hear it whistle, and you knew it was right above you and headed straight at you and that you were finished. And you accepted it. And suddenly, there was this strange feeling that everything is absolutely clear. You suddenly see that there isn't a grain of dust in the whole universe that's in the wrong place. That you understand completely, absolutely, totally what it's all about. But you can't say what it is. But he said in so many cases the bomb was a dud and they lived to tell the tale. Or he said you were in a concentration camp. You've been there so long that you gave up all hope whatsoever, ever getting out. You were just going through this miserable, boring, degrading grind, week after week after week. Nobody paid the slightest attention to you as an individual. You knew you would never get out, and you accepted it. And suddenly, something changed. This extraordinary feeling. Freedom. Or he said, you were a displaced refugee. You had lost your family. You didn't know whether they even existed. You were miles from your home. You didn't know whether it existed. You had lost your job, your very identity. You were absolutely nowhere, and you accepted it. And suddenly, you were as light as a feather and free as the air. Now he said, so many people have had those experiences, and they talk about them to their families and friends, and they say, oh, well, you were under terrific pressure, and you probably had some hallucination, you know? Well, he said, I am showing those people that so far from having a hallucination, those were the few occasions in which they woke up. So, you see, this is always the opportunity presented by death. That if one can go into death with eyes open and have somebody help you, if necessary, to give up before you die, this extraordinary thing can happen to you. So that from your standpoint, in that position, at that time, you would say, I wouldn't have missed that opportunity for the world. Now I understand why we die. The reason we die is to give us the opportunity to understand what life's all about. By letting go. Because then we come to a situation that the ego can't deal with. When we are no longer hypnotized by that, then our natural consciousness can see clearly what all this universe is for. So, therefore, we have missed this golden opportunity by institutionalizing death out of the way, instead of having a socially understood acceptance of death and rejoicing in death. Now, I could imagine that one person would want to rejoice in death in an entirely different way from another. Like, say, a wedding is a rite of passage. There are certainly some forms of celebrating a wedding which I would find a total bore. and quite offensive. Other ways would be very good. I would enjoy it. So everybody, in other words, I'm not saying that you've got to get mixed up with a lot of people coming, laughing around you and giving you presents and cards and everything because you're going to die. But I'm only indicating a general thing, that the doctor, the ministers, the psychiatrists, and above all us, really owe it to our friends to work out an entirely new approach to death. Because what has happened, you see, from earliest childhood, the child learned that great-uncle was dying and saw the family put on long faces and say, oh, that's too bad. Even Christians who think they're going to go to heaven, you know, they get absolutely morbid, more so than anybody else about death, because heaven, as they all know, is a very boring place. And so, this frightful thing, dead, you know. One understands that for the living, to lose someone you love, or even for a dying person to worry about what on earth my wife, my children, my whatever are going to do without me. One can understand a certain worry in that. But nobody is indispensable. And there comes a point when you have to say, I'm sorry, but I am completely going to abandon responsibility for anything. Because there is no further way I can do it. This is another way of that surrender. And then the curious thing that occurs is the moment all that is dropped, suddenly it dawns on you.
Alan Watts dying.
Showing pictures that match.
Alan Watts dying.
Alan Watts died in Druid Heights on November 16th, 1973.
Wrong with being sick or with dying. to survive? Who gave you the idea that it's a gas that go on and on and on? And we can say that it's a good thing for everything to go on moving. A very simple demonstration that if we enable everybody, we overcrowd ourselves. So therefore, one person dies in a way as honorable.
Hello, Moto.
Hey. Hey.
Moto. Hello.
Yeah, I'm not feeling at the top of my game. What's going on? I'm gonna have to move in your house. We're talking about Clarissa, right? Who the fuck cares about her? You should go find some dick slut. Hmm? Don't watch shit like that. I gotta write down the number and fucking text you Harry's number. Harry. Alright, I'll try to send it over right now. Harry. ABCDEFG HIJ KH. I'm P. His name's Harry, right? I can't find it. Try again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, H, I, J. My mom is pretty desperate to get to that guy who sells the hydrogen water, and I think your aunt, you need to get your aunt highly in touch with this guy. Dude, it could totally fix her rectum or her colon or whatever is wrong with her. Hydrogen water is a great way to go, especially for that problem. Like, there was these people who got, like, tumors cut out of their colon, and it just totally fixed them. So, yeah. You want to save your fucking aunt? You really need to do this. No, there's no rectum left. Still, dude, hydrogen water has been known to work miracles on the very same people who had tumors cut out of their a-hole or whatever. Hydrogen water is it's the best thing that I know for your aunt, your auntie. Still, you refuse to take me seriously. Well, then don't. So I'm not trying to push it on you, but I am kind of trying to push it on you. Yeah, well, she can drink. She can drink water. Hydrogen water does something to the colon. Some weird thing where it clears out like all leftover cancer. I'm not even joking. She can't drink water. No, this is far worse than hemorrhoids. Shut up. Shut up, you fucking cookie cunt. Michelle's aunt has ass cancer. Which is gotta be really scary. So they gotta go in there with like surgical fucking precision and like cut things out of her butt. And liver cancer. Now, liver cancer is a whole nother story. Liver cancer can be pretty painful from what I hear. It changes the color of your pee to dark yellow. Yeah, liver cancer's scary. It all begins with cirrhosis, doesn't it? I'm gonna get liver cancer before anybody. Fucking A. I'll be the youngest one with yet liver cancer. Cause I've done so much fucking damage. And there's nothing I can do about it. Besides the fact I'm addicted to alcohol. No, cirrhosis is the beginning of cancer. It's like when your liver says it quits. And there's no way to fix it. No, not when you have cirrhosis. Yeah, cirrhosis is terminal. Once you get cirrhosis, there's no going back. I'm gonna stick with what I said. Once you get cirrhosis, you're gonna ditch me over this little bit of debate. Ass face. Alright, go ahead, leave me. Fuck you. Just trying to have a little bit of debate. I mean, once cirrhosis hits, you're pretty much dead. Once cirrhosis hits, there's like nearly no going back. I mean, there is going back, but not really. Once you get cirrhosis, that's like a diagnosis of you're fucked. Don't. Goodbye. So I won't have to put up with your fucking hatred anymore. Fuck you. Play this game, we'll play this game. It's gonna hurt. Fine. You're the only one that helps me in my time of need. You just wanna fucking... Fuck you. Alright? What happens when I say fuck you back? Shall we step it up a few notches? Because I feel like doing it. I don't know what to do. Now this is gonna hurt a little bit. Oh, calm down. Don't leave me. If you leave me now, I won't be able to control myself. Alright, if you need to, then go. Makes two of us. Don't leave me. Because now I'm in distress. Now I want to suffer. Oh, you've got nothing to be upset about. Last night was Halloween. Show some goddamn appreciation. What do you mean I never ask you about your life? I always do. You clearly don't realize it. Well, good. Let it out. Let it out. Well, would you like me to let it out? Would it make you feel better if I cried? I can cry. It just won't be easy. Tribute to Robin Williams.
For some matching videos.
More questions are raised than can possibly be answered, but I started reflecting about it. I knew Robin Williams for 38 years. 38 years, which in and of itself is crazy how time... And I met him at the Comedy Store. He and I were kids, along with myself and Jay Leno and Tom Dreesen and Tim Thomerson and Johnny Dark and Elaine Boosler and on and Jimmy Walker, and we were all out there at the Comedy Store, and we wanted to make people laugh. We wanted to get on the Tonight Show. We wanted something because we all felt that we were funny, and we would, in those days we were working for free drinks. Some were working for more free drinks than others. So what you would do is you would go on stage, and then you do your little skits, and then you would come off stage, and if there was a new guy coming on, you'd want to stick around and make fun of the new guy. Sure. Because we were all worried that, somebody else is coming in who's really funny, and then we'll have to go back, in my case, to Indiana. Yes. And I can remember the night my friend George Miller and I, who was a very funny comic and was on this show many times, we were at the Comedy Store, and they introduced Robin Williams. And for some reason, in the beginning, he was introduced as being from Scotland. They said he was Scottish. I see. So now we're stumped. We don't know. There's a Scottish guy really coming to the United States. So we're feeling pretty smug about our position right away, because it's going to be haggis and that kind of crap. Yeah. So we're relaxed. We're ready to go. And all of a sudden he comes up on stage, and you know what it is. It's like nothing we had ever seen before, nothing we had ever imagined before. We go home at night and are writing our little jokes about stuff, and this guy comes in, and we're like, like morning dew. He comes in like a hurricane. Yeah. And now, the longer he's on stage, the worse we feel about ourselves. And because it's not stopping. Doesn't stop. And then he finishes, and I thought, that's it. They're going to have to put an end to show business, because what can happen after this? And then we got to see this night after night after night, and we didn't approach him because we were afraid of him. Honest to God, you thought, holy crap, there goes my chance at show business because of this guy from Scotland. And then, like shot out of a cannon, he goes and he's on the Happy Days show, and then from the Happy Days show he gets to be on Mork and Mindy. Now there's some structure to his life. He's not at the Comedy Store every night because he's got an actual job. So the rest of us can pretend that it never happened. But yet then he goes from Mork and Mindy, and then he starts making movie after movie after movie. He's nominated 4 times for an Academy Award, and it wasn't really until Paul and I started the NBC version of this show, which, by the way, is still running in Mexico.
It is.
But it wasn't until then that I sort of got to really know Robin Williams, because he would come on to promote movies or concerts or whatever he was talking about, and he was always so gracious, and we would talk about the old times, and never did he act like, oh, I knew you guys were scared because I was so good, and it was just a pleasure to know the guy, and he was a gentleman and delightful, and even in the old days, he was kind enough to ask me to appear on his Mork and Mindy show. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Because he did it only because he was trying to help other fledgling, starting-out comics.
Makes sense.
Right. The other side of the sword is I had no business being on that show. I have no business being on this show.
Well...
But he was nice. He gave me a job, and so and in those days jobs were hard to come by. And there I was on Mork and Mindy, and I can remember between the dress rehearsal and the actual taping of the show, the director of the program, Howard Storm, comes up to me and he says, "Well, you've been trying all week." He says, "This is your last chance." So even to the detriment of the show, Robin was kind enough to invite me to come on because he thought, why can't I spread this around and have some of my friends share in my success, which is exactly what he did. He then was on our show, this show, and the old show a total of nearly 50 times.
Right. 50 times.
50 times. 50 times. Two things would happen because Robin was on the program. One, I didn't have to do anything.
Yes.
All I had to do was sit here and watch the machine.
Yeah.
And two, people would watch. If they knew Robin was on the show, the viewership would go up because they wanted to see Robin.
Yeah.
And believe me, that wasn't just true of television. I believe that was true of the kind of guy he was. People were drawn to him because of this electricity, this whatever it was that he radiated that propelled him and powered him. And then he came on when I came back after my heart surgery.
Right.
Robin was nice enough to come on that night, and it was very, very funny and very, very appropriate. And here's a picture that I will now cherish even more than I had previously. There are 4 people right there.
Wow.
Two of which wildly funny, insanely funny. 2 are not. Handsome woman there is Mitzi Shore. She owned the Comedy Store. We all, the 3 of us, worked there. I think Robin and I, it'd be safe to say, we started there. Richard Pryor was already Richard Pryor, but he would work there. And the guy in the middle, I trimmed hedges.
Yeah.
So we would like to... together a segment of Robin Williams' appearances, and moreover, more than anything, it will make you laugh, and really that's what we should take from this is he could make you laugh under any circumstances. Here he is on our show.
It's from the Gandhi on Ice collection.
How you doing, Mr. Williams? God, Mrs. Doubtfire is very funny. You know, you're much more attractive as an older woman.
Hold on. Okay, I got it. All right. Take it easy, Dad. Our next... The first day of the job. Aren't you glad you didn't see this in the surgery? Hey, Dave, it's me. I think it's going to be real funny.
He had a television show, Mork and Mindy. Nice. And the producers, for some unknown reason, invited me for like a little thing on the show.
That's right, you played
I've never seen it. I could not bring myself to watch it until tonight.
You haven't here? Somebody has stolen my Rolls Royce. Getting it back is reality. It's amazing when you win the Academy Award. You have like about a week where everyone's like, hey, Good Will Hunting, way to go. Good Will Hunting, Academy Award, way to go. And 2 weeks later, it's like, hey, Mork, how are you?
Man and a good friend and a gentleman. I'm sorry, like everybody else, I had no idea that the man was in pain, that the man was suffering. But what a guy, Robin Williams. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Grammy and Academy Award-winning actor and performer. He is starring in a new television series entitled The Crazy Ones, which premieres Thursday at 9 p.m. Thank God, right here on CBS. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the delightful, the entertaining Robin Williams. Thank you very much.
There is a joy tonight here. I give you up, but I love it all, David Letterman. Joy to be with my man, doing what he can. David is the only one. We are to have some fun. Everybody!
Good to see you. I have one thing to say.
Kippy, great to be here.
It's Kippy.
Oh, Kippy?
All day we've been talking about Renee Fleming being from Indiana.
Wow.
And I keep saying, oh, what city in Indiana? What city in Indiana? As you're making your entrance, the producer comes over and says, it's Indiana, Pennsylvania.
And now you go like, well, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Boy, do I feel like a schmuck.
Yeah. CBS, you're home for misinformation.
I love the fact that she did the one line in Yiddish. Oi! Was magst du, Kinder? Oi!
You performed at the Met?
Yes, I actually performed there, and it was wonderful because I was on the stage, and afterwards there were all these wonderful Irish ushers, and my act was a little bit blue, and all these Irish ushers going, oh dear, they're doing pornography on the same stage as Pavarotti. Oh, no, that's the end of the world. But it's an amazing place. I just look at them and go, my God, it's incredible. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and you're so beautiful.
Thank you for finally coming out now. Well, God bless you, David. Kippy, I don't care.
you're an attractive man. Don't be afraid to go Liberace on me.
Okay, let go. Let go of me now.
Let go of me.
Yeah, thank you.
Getting a little uncomfortable, are we, Kippy?
Fine, thank you. Speaking of things generally, hello. What is this, the 25th year of Mrs. Doubtfire?
25 years.
25?
Oh, 20. I think it's 20 years.
20 years.
20 years of Mrs. Doubtfire was a great, great thing to do.
Oh, my God.
Just finding the voice was kind of fun.
Well, thank you. I think we have a...
There she is. There she is. A lovely, full-figured gal, kind of like a Scottish pinata, really. Finding the voice was the hardest part, because initially I made her sound like Margaret Thatcher, and that would probably scare the hell out of children. Go to bed, Chandler. I'm going to fire a cruise missile. Don't be afraid. Well, one time I had a wonderful thing. I got to dress up as her, and we were shooting in San Francisco, and I walked into this sex shop. And I went up to the counter and went, "Excuse me, that double-headed dildo behind the counter there." Yes. Could you have one without so many veins? Thank you. And possibly, do you have any scented lubricants? Something fun? And I could see this poor guy going, "Oh, wow!" Then he saw it was me. He said, "Robin, you ass, get out of here."
Whoa, buddy. Now listen, I can't tell you how happy I am that you're here on CBS.
It was nice. It was it's great to be with
now,
you.
when's the last time you did regular television work?
It was 32 years ago, Dave.
32 years ago.
32 years ago. There were only 3 networks back then. And it was wonderful. And I have a fun fact for the folks at home. David was actually on Mork and Mindy a long time ago.
Yeah. People gasping. Yeah. Actually gasping.
Google David Letterman, Mork and Mindy. Brace yourself.
Okay, yeah, get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready for
Here's a memory you don't want to have right now.
Solid entertainment. What was your day? What were your days in television like then compared to what we're experiencing now?
I don't remember a lot because I was on everything but skates back then. Woo!
Is that true?
Very much so. Thank God that TMZ didn't exist back then because I would have been 24 hours. Hi, what are you doing? Hey, hi, nice to meet you. It was just like, it was so rough. One time I came in, I was so hungover, the director gave me notes. He would go like, "Robin, wake up. We want you on that side of the stage." Oh, it was rough. But the first couple of years were amazing. And the last year was the best because I got to work with Jonathan.
Well, you did the lovely tribute to Jonathan.
Oh, boss, he was the best.
On the Emmys on Sunday night. And I was reading about you and your father.
Watching him.
Tell that story because...
It's kind of sweet because my dad was, a sweet man, but not the easiest laugh. And Jonathan came on the old Tonight Show with Jack Park. Are you allowed to say Tonight Show? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Cool. Jonathan came out wearing a pith helmet, and Jack said, "What are you, John?" He said, "I'm a great white hunter." And Jack said, "What do you hunt?" He said, "I hunt mainly squirrels." And then he said, "How do you do that?" "I aim for their little nuts." And my father just went, "Oh!" And I went, "Who is this man?"
Yeah.
He made the great white father laugh.
Yeah. And you became friends with the man.
Oh, it was wonderful
to be with him.
I think hanging out with him was amazing. I would see him do kind of amazing things. At one time, he had a handicapped parking sticker. And he parked in a handicapped parking space, and a woman came up and said, "You don't look handicapped to me." And Jonathan went, "Madam, can you see inside my mind?" My favorite one-liner of Jonathan's, he did this one, and there's very few one-liners you can say about Johnny, but he did this great routine. He said, "Have you ever undressed in front of a dog?" And then he did the dog like... That's what even Buddha would go. Good line.
I can remember when he would be on like the Ed Sullivan Show or the Jack Parr Tonight Show, and the minute the curtain opened and he came out, I would start laughing. He really, really got your attention.
If you Google some of his routines, there's a thing where he played a bass fisherman, and he played 2 guys in the boat, but then he played the 2 fish under the water. There's routines that are just incredible.
I can remember one time being in a coffee shop having breakfast in the same place Jonathan was having breakfast, and it took him to get up to pay his check. He did material at every table on his way to the...
Oh, big time. There was no audience too small for it. I once saw him doing a cat for a dog.
It was tremendous. He's tremendous. We'll be right back with Robin Williams, ladies and gentlemen. always very hard working. You're performing around the country, doing films, and now you get kind of a regular gig. And what is that like? Is it good?
It's a regular job, Dave. Day to day, you go to the plant, you put your punch card in, you get out. That's a good job. It's really lovely. It's been kind of great to have that.
And how did this happen? Did somebody call you up and say,
I won a lottery? No, David Kelly called me up and said, I'd like to meet with you. And he's a sweet man, but not the biggest laugher in the world. This is David Kelly laughing. Yeah, that's it. If he does this, you go, kill him! But he basically sat me down and said, this is my idea for a show, father-daughter advertising firm. Father's kind of an idea man, but he's had an interesting life, multiple marriages and rehab. I went, I've done the research, okay. And the daughter is there to kind of back him up, but at the same time, he's looking for ideas. She's trying, and the father's also trying to get her to be more creative. So it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, and this is. Did we still go out on the road and do stand-up?
I haven't done stand-up, I think, in a couple of years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I can remember watching those HBO specials, and I think we even talked about it one time, and I couldn't understand how carbon-based life form could actually do that. It was
occasionally things happen, David. Things happen. It's good to know that Stephen Hawking can still go to a strip club. Work it. Take me to the event horizon. Sorry, that's new.
That's all right.
Here we go now. Welcome to part 2. But for me, HBO was actually this wonderful thing of having the outlet of that kind of comedy, which is there's so much freedom you have on that thing. Just not just the content of the words you can say, but the idea that there's no one to say, oh, don't do that. Good news, bad news on that level.
Yeah, but you're directing the compliment toward HBO, who has nothing to do with your ability as a comedian.
But they gave me a gig.
Well, sure, they gave you a gig. But
it'd be very hard to do it on the street. People go like, okay, that's enough. Please walk away.
I mean, when I was out doing stand-up comedy, they would come to me and say, okay, we need 20 minutes. And I would say, well, what about 15? Can we just make it 15?
Dave, let it go.
and you get out there for 90 minutes, and it's riveting.
But it's cheaper than therapy a lot of times. For me, it's a chance to talk about things that were kind of my life. I'm not as personal as a lot of people do, but the last HBO special kind of got into interesting aspects about the relapse and, the idea of going to... I went to rehab in wine country just to keep my options open. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much. But it's the idea of keep your options open. But I was talking about just having kids. Initially, for me, the first time I actually started to talk about my life was the HBO special that I filmed at the Met, where I talked about having kids and having to kind of put it together and really having responsibilities and having Zachary. And I remember the first time, doing my act, and then all of a sudden the first time Zachary's in the car, and all of a sudden somebody cut me off in traffic, and I went, and from the backseat this little voice went, and I went, oh, you're Daddy's boy. But now, all my kids have grown up and they've done amazing. When Zachary graduated from college, he got a degree in linguistics from NYU. And I said, what are you going to do, open a syntax repair shop? But I was so proud of him because I never graduated from college. And I was just, and then he went on to get a degree from Columbia and an MBA in business. I'm like, okay, that's it. That's enough. But now he's working. He's actually making money on his own. Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. We're going to go. Where are we going? Where are we going today? To take Daddy over by the sidewalk. There we're going. We're walking over there now. We're going to see Uncle Dave.
It's sad. The Crazy Ones premieres Thursday. Thursday to tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, Dave!
All right, there you go.
See it. Be there Thursday.
9 p.m.
¿Cuántos nuevos? Thursday.
Right here.
On
CBS.
David
Robin Williams, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, my friend. Good to have you here. Thank you. We'll be right back with Lindsay Cameron.
through when they used to sell drugs in Tompkins Square Park in New York before it was hipsters in their prams. There used to be a guy that, like, everyone else was selling Sensimilia. There was all these guys going, Sensimilia, Sensimilia, Sensimilia. But there was one guy in a bright orange jumpsuit and a green clown wig and go, acid. Check it out. Had no effect on me, bro. Taking me another dimension. Acid right here. Hello. What's your name? Look on the back. Stay around Rock Springs, Wyoming. You ever been up there? Like to go fishing up there, dude?
No, I haven't been up there right there. I'm always afraid I'll end up on a river and somebody going, hey, pretty boy.
You're prettier since you got married. You know that? You always had the sparkly eyes, but now you're. I guess it's the unattainable thing makes you even more attractive. The old hand signal don't go anymore. You know you did that. This goes into witness protection. The other direction. Too late now. Manual override. Anyway, Sarah in Rock Springs, Wyoming says, Dear Craig and Robin, my friends and I are forming a punk band but can't agree on the name. What do you think you should call ourselves? Is it an all-girl band? Yeah, let's say it is. Let's say it. Think about it. I don't want to fight with you. No. You were in the punk band. Yes, but there weren't any girls in my. But well, you know, there was a chlamydia. It's Greek, but at the same time slightly uncomfortable. Very recently I was at a bar in Scotland, in rural Scotland, and I went into the restroom and there was a sign up, right, one of these public announcement signs in the bar, and it showed, it was a drawing of teenagers dancing and, you know, about to have sex, and it said, everyone's out and about, including chlamydia. Your dad's here. He's back and they're not back. We didn't know. I saw it in the medical dictionary and I named you. Where's your sister gonorrhea? Get over here, girl. Chlamydia, everybody. She's out and about and going at there. What will we do, girl? Chlamydia. It's all. I hope that helps. This is from Denise in Orlando, Florida. You ever been down there? Yes, sir. Sure. All right. Dear Craig and Robin, my boyfriend and I made a special tape together. Uh-oh. Oh. We broke up a few weeks ago. How do I get it back? Send it here. Care of Craig and Chlamydia. Yeah. A special tape. Oh, what? Everybody's out and about. Craig and Chlamydia. The last thing you'll hear is this. You, mate. Oh my God, this turn has got pixelated. This is from Tonya in Charlottesville, Virginia. I don't know if you can tell, but Tonya's a tit. Can you see that? Yeah. Boys and girls, that's a bird. And a woodpecker is too. Unless you're a puppet. And so's a cock. It's a bird. And they both crow. All right. But you don't go into a bar looking for a rooster. I got a bar. Hey, Craig and Robin, I've been a vegetarian for 8 years. Are you a vegetarian? No, sir. Okay. I do have a cow valve, which is kind of weird. I can't eat meat because it's like I'm one of them now. And the good thing about a cow valve is I can rock standing up. Hey, I don't have a cow valve, but I can do that. You can, but people won't give me the whole room. He's got a cow valve. Well, that's okay, Missy. I don't have a cow valve, but I'm enthusiastic. I've been a vegetarian for 8 years. My doctor suggested I start introducing meat into my diet. What should I start with? this person spam right off the bat. I'll start getting all the meat products, every part of the cow, in one little box. And if your bowels don't just go, I'll see go a little easier. Spams, you know that's a little much too soon. Once a week, you can do haggis. Haggis, that's true. Right. This is a vegetarian haggis. Oh, yeah, that's a great one. That'll just blow your cheeks apart. That's like a chlamydia. Hey, that one there. All right. Bobby, go get me the chlamydia kitten. Did you say? Did you say chlamydia, your dad's? What? Did you say chlamydia, your dad's here? That's enough. Stupidest thing ever. That's the one you don't want to have on the loudspeaker. Chlamydia, my courtesy phone, chlamydia. All right, happy Thanksgiving. Robert Wars, everybody.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I guess like a lot of us, most of us, I've been thinking about Robin Williams. I believe we found out a week ago that he had died. And many things come to mind in a situation like this. And, of course, more questions are raised than can possibly be answered. But I started reflecting about it. I knew Robin Williams for 38 years. 38 years, which in and of itself is crazy how time... And I met him at the Comedy Store. He and I were kids, along with myself and Jay Leno and Tom Dreesen and Tim Thomerson and Johnny Dark and Elaine Boosler and on, and Jimmy Walker, and we were all out there at the Comedy Store, and we wanted to make people laugh. We wanted to get on the Tonight Show. We wanted something because we all felt that we were funny, and we would, in those days we were working for free drinks. Some were working for more free drinks than others. So what you would do is you would go on stage, and then you do your little skits, and then you would come off stage, and if there was a new guy coming on, you'd want to stick around and make fun of the new guy. Sure. Because we were all worried that, somebody else is coming in who's really funny, and then we'll have to go back, in my case, to Indiana. Yes.
No! Fuck you! You can't leave me. God damn it.
As we come to the end of this phase of our life, we find ourselves trying to remember the good times, trying to forget the bad times. And we find ourselves thinking about the future. We start to worry, thinking, what am I going to do?
What if I don't want to leave you?
Where am I going to be in 10 years? But I say to you, hey, look at me. Please, don't worry so much. Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish. Think of me. Make your life spectacular.
I love you too, Michelle. Dear Michelle, I care so deeply about you. Words cannot explain.
We really want something possibly out of reach and ridiculous and expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
Good night. You gonna leave me now? You fucker?
Where am I going to be in 10 years? But I say to you, hey, look at me. Please, don't worry so much.
Come on, you can't leave me just yet. Let me express myself, or at least try to. And I don't know any way, really, to express myself besides I'm in some kind of love with you. I hope you're happy. You're still in my heart, and now I cannot pull away. So you get that to think about.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night.
How does it feel? How does it feel knowing that there is someone out there who cares about you more than any other person in the world?
Today, make a wish. Think of me. Make your life spectacular. I know I did.
Seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I am to prove that you can ask the universe for
it. Good. Now, not only do you know how I feel, but maybe even greater.
You know, as we come to the end of this phase of our life,
I've always been afraid to talk to
trying to remember the good times and trying to forget the bad times. We find
but with you,
thinking about the future. We start to worry. Thinking, what am I
You're
going
like
to do?
another guy.
Where am I
Someone
going to be
who I
in
can
10 years?
relate to. Right.
But I say to you, hey, look at me. Please, don't worry so much. Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth.
Yeah, you worry about me.
Fleeting.
Probably for good reason.
And if you're ever distressed,
'Cause one day I'm gonna die.
cast your eyes to the summer sky.
What will I do without you? And what will you do without me?
Night. And when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish. Think of me. make your life spectacular. I know I did.
Seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for
it. The day when I die,
we need to talk about Jeff. Are you okay?
God, Dahmer, you are such a freak!
He's not a sideshow attraction.
We're just having fun, you know?
Get out of your shell. You need to be more normal.
I'm just like anybody else.
The effect of my father's love and humor and how it altered the world around me. And I thought, that's something to do. That's something worth my time. When I was about 28, after a decade as a professional comedian, I realized one night in LA the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern, just like my dad. I did something present their best selves to me wherever I go. How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. I can tell you from experience the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on a film star. Where the light that shines through, all else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. That peace that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality, beyond the perception levels, beyond invention of the skies, even beyond effort itself. You can join the game, fight the rivers, play with warm all you want, but to find real peace, you have to let the earth with it. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this world. Risk being seen in all of your glory. I've often said that I wish people could realize all their dreams of wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself, until someone smarter than myself made me realize that there is nothing bigger than myself. Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script. The working title is never enough. I'm just making a conscious choice to pursue challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You'll come up with your own style. That's part of the fun. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. You will only ever have two choices. Love or fear. Choose love. And don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. All that will be left of you is what was in your heart. My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. Relax and dream up a good life. can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. Seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I am the proof that you can ask the universe for it. portrait in the mirror, wounded only by my own arrows, begging to be enslaved, pleading for my chains, blinded by longing and tripping over paradise. You didn't think I could be serious, did you? I don't think you understand who you're dealing with. I have no limits. I cannot be contained because I'm the container. You can't contain the container, man. You can't contain the container. I used to believe that who I was ended at the edge of my skin. That I had been given this little vehicle called a body from which to experience creation. And though I couldn't have asked for a sportier model, it was, after all, a loaner and would have to be returned. Then I learned that everything outside the vehicle was part of me too. And now I drive a convertible. Yeah, man. Top down. Wind in my hair. Woo! I am elated and truly excited to be present and fully connected to you at this important moment in your journey. I hope you're ready to open the roof and take it all in. Okay, 4 more years then. They're obviously not ready. Just need some more cutting. I want to thank the trustees, the administrators, the faculty of MUM for creating an institution worthy of Maharishi's ideals of education, a place that teaches knowledge and experience, the knowledge and experience necessary to be productive in life, as well as enabling the students through transcendental meditation and ancient Vedic knowledge to slack off twice a day for an hour and a half. Don't think you're fooling me. But I guess it has some benefits. It does allow you to separate who you truly are and what's real from the stories that run through your head. You have given them the ability to walk behind the mind's elaborate set decoration and to see that there's a huge difference between a dog that is going to eat you in your mind and an actual dog that is going to eat you. That may sound like no big deal, but many never learn that distinction. And they spend a great deal of their lives living in fight-or-flight response. I'd like to acknowledge all of you wonderful parents. Way to go. What a fantastic job you've done. For your tireless dedication, your love, your support, most of all, for the attention that you pay to your children. I have a saying, beware the unloved, because they will eventually hurt themselves or me. But when I look at this group here, I feel really safe. I do. I'm just going to say it. My room is not locked. My room is not locked. No doubt some of you will turn out to be crooks. But white-collar stuff, Wall Street, that type of thing, Crimes committed by people with self-esteem. Stuff parents can still be proud of in a weird way. And to the graduating class of 2017, -3... You didn't let me finish. Congratulations. Yes. Give yourself a round of applause, please. You are knowledge and consciousness. A new wave in a vast ocean of possibilities. On the other side of that door, there's a world starving for new ideas, new leadership. I've been out there for 30 years. She's a wildcat. She'll rub up against your leg and purr until you pick her up and start petting her. And then out of nowhere, she'll slap you in the face. It can be rough out there. But that's okay. Because there's soft serve ice cream. With sprinkles. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say here today. Sometimes it's okay to eat your feelings. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life. But you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future. But all there will ever be is what's happening here. And the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Please.
My hand is burned horribly. And I look forward to burning my hand again. For you, no less. So this is probably gonna hurt. I'm gonna cover myself in rubbing alcohol and light this bitch up. Really? I won't do it, but still, I kind of want to do it. Come on. No? Not at all? You suck. I'm gonna do it anyway. You cannot stop me. No. No. You don't light myself on fire. Come on. For fuck's sake, please. One, two. Come on, let's have some fun. Down your boy. Down your boy. Down your boy. Represent your boy. mine shell. Spent a lot of time vomiting. And I am still not back on I just laid all over the floor vomiting. I'm not sure how fast I can. Yeah, it wasn't exactly easy to get here. You don't know what I went through to get here, man. Here? Here? Here is still not gonna work. I'm cold. You think? Oh, you need a little bit of rehab. You fucking think? Why don't you just put me in Australian rehab? Wouldn't that be so much easier? Then do something, like mouth fuck you and your daughter, Fluffy. God damn it. No, fuck you, Fluffy. Bow down before me, like the bitch that you are. Good! Fuck off, Fluffy! I don't want to hear you right now. Nobody cares! Fuck you, Fluffy! Go away! Fuck you and fuck Killjoy! I think I'm going to bed. It's not like what your daughter did to me. Your daughter didn't fuck me. That's what she didn't do. You! something about I mentioned her daughter and blah 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 blah. Suck my dick, furry, fluffy, fuck you. 2 weeks from Sunday. Sure there are, but how many of you are a bunch of cunts? Shit.
We'll begin by refreshing memories as to what went before. In discussing the theme of the Joker, I have been talking about a point of view, the Joker's point of view, from which not only our social institutions, but also all the formations of the natural world are seen as games. Be careful of the word game. It doesn't mean as trivialities, because when we say it's just a game, this often means it is just trivial. There can be important games, as when we play the piano or musical instruments. We are not necessarily doing something frivolous, but we are playing. And there is something in the nature of all that is not serious, but at the same time may be sincere. And I try to give you the picture of the multiplicity of natural forms on the one hand, and of human social institutions, and all the things that we do and consider important and busy ourselves with. Suck my cock! I try to give you the point of view from which these can be seen as games, as things being done, as it were, simply for themselves, and not for some ulterior motive. And therefore, these games are in a way best played when they are played as games. Although it's really all right for people to take them seriously, except that they are a little bit deprived. They're missing something. And so when the Joker sees a person taking his life seriously and regarding himself as extremely important, there is something a little bit funny about it, and he is inclined to get the giggles. And it's all he knows that the very intensity of seriousness with which the individuals concerned are taking these games will be a kind of foil for the subsequent bursting into laughter when he sees that it wasn't serious after all. You see that? You might say there are these classes of people. There are the very far-out people and the very far-in people. Now, ordinarily, we say someone's very far-out when they are oddballs, when they are exceedingly unconventional. But I want you to turn the picture round and look at a conventional person, look at a square, as a person who's very far-out. That is to say, he is so involved in the seriousness of the game he is playing that he is lost. He doesn't know where he started from, and he thinks he's there. But he's completely lost, because he is actually under the cover of his assurance, of his status, of his position in society. He's really a very anxious person. I said a lot yesterday about the way in which our society shows anxiety because it cannot permit the existence of people who don't belong. And it cannot really permit the criticism of laughter. It cannot permit the presence of the old-fashioned court jester. Because these people are so far out. They're so involved, and from a certain standpoint, you see, from the Joker's standpoint, he doesn't condemn such people. He rather congratulates them on their heroism for getting so lost and involved.
But to keep the far-out people from going quite insane, there have to be far-in people. And the far-in people are those who keep contact with the original goings-on behind the scenes. They are like the prompter in the theatre. There are the actors out on the stage, relying on their memories, etc., and they're supposed to get completely involved in the play. But there's the concealed prompter with the script in front of him. And he is the connection of the actor on the stage with the green room behind the stage. And you see in this dramatic analogy of the universe, the green room is the central point, the still point of the turning world. The green room is how God is when he's back home, not involved in all these games, and takes off the mask. See, on the Hindu theory that everybody is a mask of God. Like a wonderful line in one of Chesterton's poems. And now a great thing in the street seems any human nod, where move in strange democracy the million masks of God. The million masks of the Joker, because the Joker is the player, the trick player, who plays ultimately the great trick on himself. So really, there can be no resentment about this. Nobody to blame, nobody to turn around at the end and say, you bastard, you did this to me. Because it's always you who are ultimately responsible. So, this prompter, you see, keeps the actor on the stage in touch with the green room. And so there are certain people in the world who might be a kind of a priesthood sometimes, although priesthoods are apt to become corrupt and square. But a kind of people in the know. There always has to be somebody around in the know. So that, as it were, the wheel of society and of existence, the wheel of the squirrel cage, the wheel of the rat race, can have an axle firmly planted. And at the center then there have to be the far-in people. So this is the domain of jokers. Now, having developed that side of the joker, the person who sees through the social institutions and games, I went on in the second session to discuss another aspect of the joker as the sly man, in comparison with the monk, the fakir, and the yogi, who undertake all those three, undertake in certain different ways disciplines which have the intent of releasing them from their karma. The individual, in other words, challenges his involvement, his attachments, his limitations, his finitude, and endeavors to overcome it. But in each of these three cases, the individual involved stirs up an immense opposition, because he serves notice upon the devil, or shall we say upon his karmic creditors, that he is about to leave town. And so all the creditors come rushing to the door. All his past sins catch up with him. And the devil lays his temptations in the way all the more thoroughly. So that the sly man is the one who, when he is going to leave town, does so instantaneously without any prior announcement. And so in this way there is, shall we say, a cunning manner of becoming a Buddha, and that is to become one instantly, without any preparation or warning whatsoever. This is why Zen is called the sudden school, and why Satori is a sudden awakening. Because it has to be done without the slightest warning. Now, but then I pointed out that the moment you have any idea about doing this, you've already ceased to be sudden. That is to say, the moment you seek for some spiritual attainment, which is becoming a Buddha, becoming awakened, becoming released, getting in there, you've already served notice upon your creditors. So that somehow or other you find that you have to do it without intending to do it. And that is a double bind, which you impose upon yourself when you say, I must find a way of doing this spontaneously. That's the old basic double bind. You must be spontaneous. You are commanded, or you command yourself to do something which is acceptable only if it happens spontaneously. Then you think about that and say, well, what a fix that is. Here am I saying, I must be surprised, and I'm going to lay plans to surprise myself. So by going through this, you discover naturally that can't be done. You can't surprise yourself on purpose. Yet that's what you have to do. So what about it? You come to a state of total paralysis. You're stuck. The one thing that is terribly important to be done can't be done. It has to happen. It really does if you're earnest about this. You want to get out of the trap. But you can't do anything about it, either actively or passively. But then as you begin to see what you are doing all the time, you notice a very odd fact, which is that you can't help being spontaneous. If I say to you, good morning, and you say good morning, what is that? Did you plan this answer? Did you make preparations to grow your hair? Do you make decisions about having blue eyes? You see, about breathing? Is this all planned? About beating your heart? And what about your thinking? Even if it's very blocked thinking, even if you feel from a certain point of view that you're all mixed up, what is going on anyway? You see, you can't stop it. It's like trying to, we were discussing the Gurdjieff thing yesterday, the self-remembering exercise, the attempt to live completely in the present. Well, that's not only a Gurdjieff idea, that's a very ancient yoga and Buddhist discipline, to be completely here and now. But of course, as you pursue this, you discover you can't do it, because you couldn't even, know where to go shopping unless you made plans and started thinking about the future. Because you couldn't move. But then you discover, you see, that in the long run there's nothing to think about except the here and now. There really isn't anything else. Because even when you make plans for the future and you remember the past, you're doing it all in the present. Your memory is a present activity. There's no way of not being self-remembering and having presence of mind. So when you discover that, there's nothing left to you but to have a good laugh. Well now, I want to develop to a greater extent something I only touched on yesterday afternoon when we were discussing anxiety and laughter and the relationship between the two. I suggested that anxiety and laughter are really the same phenomenon, but seen from different points of view. As we all know, we can have shadows of horror and shadows of delight, tears of grief and tears of joy. And it's the same shadows and the same tears in either case, but they have a completely different meaning. Now, life is a matter of oscillation. Life is vibration. It's the whole time and all the way through. The question is, how are you going to interpret that? Is it tremble, tremble, tremble? Or is it laugh, laugh, laugh? That's the great thing. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. So that the whole thing of the Joker is he comes into being, as it were, at the point when the anxiety interpretation of the trembling becomes the laughing interpretation. We were talking about monks who had skulls in their cells to remind them of mortality. And we think a grim thing. The skull is a grim thing. But Chesterton had the poem about the skull. Chattering finch and waterfly are not merrier than I. Here among the flowers I lie, laughing everlastingly. No, I may not tell the best. Surely, friends, I might have guessed death was but the good king's jest. It was hid so carefully. So you can see the skull not as a grim thing, but as a laughing thing. It's all that's left of a human being. And all the surface is peeled off. And nothing but this beautiful bone remains. It laughs. Now why? What is it about death being a jest? We discussed the problem of the zebra. You remember whether a zebra is a yellow horse with black stripes or a black horse with yellow stripes. And of course, you can see it either way. And you can argue till all is blue about which side is right. And let's suppose that a black horse is a horse of ill omen, even though striped with yellow. And a yellow horse, a horse of joy and good omen, even though striped with black. This is our eternal problem. We are in the state of egocentric consciousness, firmly convinced that death is a threat. We are so convinced of this, even though individuals may say, well, I'm not really afraid of death. What I'm afraid of is dying in an unpleasant way. Nevertheless, since almost all moralists and people concerned with ethics seem to agree, whatever their differences of opinion, that survival is a good thing. In some sense, if not survival in this body, even the most, the people who would rather be dead than red, firmly believe that is true because they believe there is a hereafter where they can go and where they can be rewarded for the courageous stand against evil which they have taken. You see? So that's still some kind of insistence on the value of survival. And we all cling to this idea of survival with tremendous passion. But we have been fooled because survival is an important ideal only so long as you have bothering you the bugbear of death, that the world might stop altogether, and that your death, so far as you are concerned, is curtained forever. And that is really the bogey. You see, that's all very well to rationalize and say, no, it's not death I'm afraid of, it's the pains of death. But if you think about it deeply, there are several stages in thinking about it deeply. The first stage is the real horrors of endless night, of the futility, of the whole conception that one's own life, or indeed the whole life of the cosmos, might be nothing but a flash, and beyond that, nothing. Nothing in all directions. When, for example, we think of the physicist's idea that the universe is running down, that all energy is seeking a stable state. Supposing, for example, to give an illustration of what they mean, I have a jar of black pepper and a jar of salt, and I pour them together into another jar, and I can see the white salt and the black pepper fairly well delineated. Then I start shaking the jar. Slowly, the black and the white disappear into a grey. That can never be sorted out again into black and white. In this sort of way, as things go on, the universe, they say, it tends to attain a stable state, to run down, until that's the end. And nobody knows how it could possibly start all over again. But I always say, and I feel it in a sort of funny, intuitive way, that what happened once can happen again. If this world started at some time, supposing there was a colossal explosion which set all these galaxies flying out, then what existed before that explosion must surely have been something like the stable state to which we shall run down in the end. And if it went bang once, there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't go bang again. I suppose there are temperaments in logic. I have a temperament whereby I just cannot, it seems to me absolutely basic that what happened once can happen again. But there are other people who so cherish the unique that they can conceive the idea of something like existence happening only once. You see, something that happens only once doesn't happen at all. What happens if a given sound consists of only one vibration? What is the upcrest of a wave apart from the downcrest? Can you conceive that? That's the same koan as what is the sound of one hand. You see, it always takes two. You can't have a purely left-sided person. Imagine. So, in this way, just as you can't have just one vibration, it is like the saying, the greatest strength of mind is to eat one peanut. and so it can hardly be done. So there isn't just one vibration. And a bit but no da, sort of thing. You have to have it do more. So in just the same way, when you magnify this principle, there isn't just one cosmos, or one big explosion that starts and stops. All stopping implies starting. Someone just wrote to me, we haven't parted because we never met. So, the whole point of saying this is the realization that existence is eternal. The going out of existence implies the coming in. And St. Thomas had some points here when he said, there could never have been a time when there was not being. Because if there had been a time when there was nothing in nothing to produce something. But he didn't quite have the point, because what he didn't see was that nothing is productive in the sense that you can't have nothing without something. They go together. And
And all this thing is an argument, again, about whether the zebra is yellow striped black or black striped yellow. And what we see is that the black and the yellow, the darkness and the light, are simply two phases of the same. And that realization is exactly what transforms anxiety into laughter. Suddenly to see that you just, after all this anxiety, that you don't have anything to worry about. Now, that doesn't mean that there will not in our future lie some extremely painful experiences, or experiences that we would ordinarily interpret as horribly painful. We may all die of ghastly diseases, or of radiation burns, or of unimaginable things. But look here. I very briefly touched on pain yesterday and the way pain is interpreted. If you interpret pain as something that is destroying you and is going in the direction of total death, then it's very serious indeed. And it's perfectly terrifying. But I've been investigating experiences of people who've undergone torture. I don't know if anybody in this room has. It's always possible. But, and then if so, you can correct me. But the worst part of torture is the beginning. When, of course, you're full of all your illusions and all your fears about black and white and the terror that black may win. But it's said that as torture proceeds, it slowly changes the state of mind of the victim to a kind of drunken, masochistic giving in to the torture, so that it becomes something that he cooperates with. And that if the torturer notices this, he knows he's through and has to kill him. So, in other words, there is a point at which pain becomes an experience without having a negative interpretation put upon it. Becomes, in other words, converted into ecstasy. It simply becomes, you see, a way of going through extraordinarily far out sensations which have no meaning. If they have meaning, the meaning of threat, the meaning of death looming at the end, and we know this is the tearing apart and the destruction of you, then you see it is absolutely horrendous. But if it has no meaning at all, just transpose yourself into another dimension to illustrate it, because what the dimension I'm talking about is a very tough one. But let's go back to a simpler one. Let's take sounds. Now, if you lie down and listen to all the goings on in this area, you'll hear planes moving and cars and foghorns and all kinds of crazy sounds, you see. People, this way and that, so on. You can listen to that and find it very interesting. Very good. But if someone were to do what John Cage does, put you in a concert hall with the expectation of hearing music, and by having a purely silent playing of the piano, compare tell you instead to listen to all the sounds going on around you, you would be shocked and feel that some kind of a avant-garde hoax has been perpetrated. You see, it depends on the set, on the way you approach the experience. Now, you can listen to sounds that are ordinarily considered unpleasant in a totally unprejudiced way. You can listen to discordant musical noises and find them extremely interesting if you listen carefully enough.
I'm gonna die here in a few seconds. Hopefully fast. about to get in your head. If you let me. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's not what you want. Still, I just barbecue. Wouldn't be the first time, right? Just tell me. Can't do it. Fish and chips. Shells, intelligence. I just don't know how to do it. So I don't have much to say. Listen to her. What are you doing? Try to get the recipe. Or not. She makes excellent things when she makes them. I can still lay down here.